My most anticipated game of the year.
Also, my most anticipated game of the year.
Bingo.
Fuck this game.
Whoa!
This was the reason I was we don't watch any of this showcase at all.
Right.
Why the fuck are they bringing back a world map?
Nothing wrong with the world map.
Fuck world maps.
I love how they said that. It's just like we've got a world map. So
Okay, I was wondering what your take was going to be. I've been playing with world maps lately, so this doesn't bother me at all.
I mean, their world map will probably not bother me at all.
Yeah.
But
Their world map looks sick.
their world
does.
map does look very good and whatnot. But initially, whenever they said, we brought back world maps, I immediately just turned the show and went, fuck you. Because I've been traumatized by classic JRPGs and their world maps. I mean, they're not bad, but some of them are like, fuck me.
Yeah,
Right.
a lot of times it feels unnecessary.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, their world map does look sick though. It does look sick. So I mean, I think it's gonna be great.
I mean,
It's gonna be fine.
it should be fine. It was just my initial
Yeah, just the initial.
need-
Oh, damn it.
of just me and old JRPGs. It's
Right.
Why?
Yeah. We did get the release date though. Also in April.
Yep.
Busy April 24th. So don't have to. This is nice, man. Most anticipated game of the year, and you don't have to wait long for it. I'm here for this. Let's go.
I mean, it's good for me because I can start the month with South of Midnight, finish it up, and then just go straight into
Bingo.
Expedition.
Yeah, bingo. They did reveal a collector's edition that is for GameStop only. I believe it's already sold out, though. I tried to pre-order. I tried to bump up my pre-order from the deluxe edition to the collector's edition. No luck. Also, the collector's edition, as well as the deluxe edition, just for the record, is PS5 only. It is not for the Xbox, in case you wanted to get it there. But the one thing that one random thing I wanted to shout out that I kind of caught in early that I caught on early with the presentation is that they talked about how like the very first thing they did was just hammer out the gameplay.
Yeah.
Which I know that sounds like, you know, you could listen to this show and me say that it's just like, well, yeah, no shit. Isn't that what you're supposed to do?
Nope.
Surprisingly, no. No, the fact that they had an idea for gameplay where it's like turn-based, RPGs, JRPGs that we love, but add in the real-time reaction type of gameplay. That was the first thing that they developed and the first thing they hammered on. So I love to hear that because that means that the gameplay is just going to be very refined, at least in my opinion. It already looks great, but the fact that was the first thing they thought of and the first thing they developed and the first thing they worked on, that's to me just a random good sign. I love that.
What I will say, one thing that I kind of liked, or like it was cool to hear when they were talking about it, is the guy is talking. He's like, "Yeah, I had this idea for a game, and I needed some help with it. So I called my buddy that I went to school with.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then he's like, and then we worked on it for a little while. And then we realized, oh, we need some more help. So we called someone else we knew.
Yeah.
And it was just like a chain of events of people just being like, oh yeah, I know this guy. I know this guy. I know this guy.
Yeah,
and then they
'cause
just kept
It's
bringing
a small fringe team. I think
Yep.
at most from what it saw, we only saw like 8 to 10 developers.
Yeah, no, it's a pretty small team, and I also love that either the second or third guy of the ones you're mentioning was just like, yeah, I got, they pitched me an idea, whatever, and I quit my job the next day.
Yeah, it was the third guy.
Yeah, it's like I quit my job the next day and started working on it. It's like respect, dude, respect.
But yeah,
So-
no, we got a ton more information, kind of how the like not only the world works, but like characters and character
Yeah.
interactions.
So did kind of really dive into just like all the different mechanics and how you can. When they were talking about this and they were talking about the way that you can build the characters, like let's see, her name is Male, I believe. One of the guys said that he liked building her as like a protector, while but apparently he's the only person at the studio that does that.
Everyone
And
else builds her glass
cannon. Yeah, the first thing I thought of.
Why?
With Fire Emblem 3 Houses and some of the random shit that you do on that game.
Oh, I heard this and I went, oh, I'm going to have some wild choice because, I mean, they said there's 20 base skills for everyone's skill tree.
Yeah.
But then there's 100 passives.
yeah.
More hundreds.
Hundreds.
So
of
I
passives.
heard that and went, my brain's going to hurt.
There's so much potential that you can do with the characters.
And depending on how it works, I mean, I looked at that and went, well, I'm going to build something stupid.
Yeah, I know how you operate in these games.
I just wanted to go back and like speak on some of the gameplay that they had. They talked about, because it is turn-based with some real-time elements.
Yep.
Yeah.
But they did take care to mention that like it's built around all of those features. But if you're like a more old school turn-based player, and don't really interact with the kind of the real time functions, that's all just like additive stuff to the combat. To the point where like he mentioned dodging and like parrying attacks to take no damage, like from big hits and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's all extra things that can be done in combat, but apparently everything can be done without doing any of that as well.
Yeah, which was a nice touch, as you mentioned. They more or less said that they wanted that JRPG feel, so it's a classic JRPG at its base, and then they added the whole real time. They said that they went through like several builds before they found the one that they were like, okay, this is viable.
Yeah.
And I mean, just watching from the bit we saw, I mean, it looked like the QTEs or real time parts were quite pretty much through the entire battle for doing attacks, for dodging, pulling off counters, the parry, of course, like John mentioned, and he even said like it's there for those who want to challenge and really want to push themselves, and for everyone else, I mean, it's fairly forgiving and you don't have to do it.
Yeah, which is great in the accessibility department.
Yeah.
'Cause that's such a big thing in gaming these days, is making it more accessible for everyone to play. Because there's going to be plenty of players who just wants to sit down and play a classic JRPG experience and just turn their brain off, have a good time kind of thing, right? And which respect, do your thing, play your game how you want. Everything with the gameplay they showed was incredible. I'm glad we got to see all of the different skill trees where it's like each character had like 20 plus different things and all the the passive stuff. So in terms of each character having their own unique feel and stuff. Another thing that I personally really, really loved was when they were talking about the narrative and how it's not just a simple good versus evil situation.
I love when they brought this up.
I love that. I love that because it's not just like, oh, the paintress is bad. Oh, that person's bad. Kill them. No, it's deeper than that. Where it's like, the conflicts can arise due to just like different perspectives on how to kind of get stuff done, and it kind of details our, like the main characters that we're going to see here. I'm assuming at just the beginning. I'm assuming we'll meet more NPCs and more characters, but it's like our main group where we have like Gustav and Luna. I think they pronounced it Luna in the showcase. They're invested in like the expedition and like everything about their personality and everything about their purpose is about completing the mission essentially. Yeah. And then you have Cecile, who's like her darkest days has already happened, so she's kind of tied to the past to an extent. And then you have Mael, who just like wants to like live her life to the best and not necessarily focus on living longer. Yeah. Is that how they describe it?
Yeah, it's less about like we have to stop the great evil and we have a job to do, and it's like differing opinions are going to come up on how that needs to be done.
Yeah, which is a nice touch because more or less this is equivalently. There's this crisis affecting the people at large, and we're the ones who decided to step up regardless of our reasons at this time.
Right.
And just how they interact. I'm going to be more curious of because they say you're going to meet NPCs and recruit them, how those are going to change. Because like the one they showed us was the weird philosopher guy who...
The monkey?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That they said his whole kit is... You kill things, he eats, he takes pizzas of them, and he turns into them.
Yep.
That's his kit.
Yeah, there you go. Have fun.
Yeah, looks wild and crazy.
So I wonder how extensive that is in terms of and what other kinds of NPCs we will be granted across our journey, plus our flying hot air balloon.
Yeah. I was gonna bring that up because, like you mentioned the world map earlier. Well, part of traversing the world map is you have your companion that you ride around with and on at times who transports you, who is apparently one of the, if not the most powerful being on the planet.
Yep.
Who just decides, I'll fly you around.
Yeah, why not?
Oh, his interaction with him was like, me strong, but not that strong. It's like, all right.
And also in terms of like interacting and stuff, not just the NPC element of things, but one thing I caught in the gameplay they were showing was one of the rest points was Expedition 78. I noticed it at the top of the screen. So I'm wondering, does that mean you're going to get the chance to see multiple former expeditions, like I guess like almost like graveyards or like where they died or like
I
maybe
would
their
assume
former
so
camps
because
or something?
It also did answer the question of when did it start? It started at 99, or no, it started at 100.
Yeah, it started at 100.
Yeah, at 100.
Yeah.
Sorry. So however number it got to that they finally started sending expeditions. I mean, I always assumed from the beginning that we were going to see at least some bits and pieces or find lore of what happened in several other expeditions.
Yeah.
Seeing as even our NPC we know about, they even mentioned he's seen many of expeditions come through. He's just for some reason decided to follow yours this time.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Or maybe he's followed with them in the past, and it's just they've always failed. Or I would assume that like, kind of like whenever they started sending them out, like kind of like what you said, you kind of find the point that they failed at.
Right.
And it would be interesting if like the further you get, or the closer you get to the end of your expedition, you start seeing some of those lower numbers, like close to where you are, or it's like you hit a point where you're like, you find expedition 34,
Yeah.
Right.
and then it's like, okay, well, if they made it this far, how far do we have to go?
Right. See, that's going to be the interesting thing about the rest points. You're right. That's what I'm hoping to see out of it. And like, who was the first expedition, and are the rest points just how far they got? That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
So, like I said, they didn't talk about that. It was just something I caught on screen. So it's just like, that's interesting. I wonder what that's going to entail. But also, hey, shout out! This game's only been in development for 4 years. So shout out to that too. Kudos to the team. They've done incredible work in a 4-year period.
Also, one of the games that once it was shown off has had some of the most interest, most hype shown behind it. One of the best looking games coming out this year. $49.99.
I know.
Yep.
I know. Dude, it's incredible. I
And
love
on
it.
Game Pass.
Yeah, and it's gonna be on Game Pass. And man, there was a section of it as well where they just talked about the world that they're wanting to build for it, and just God bless some of the shots they showed of the different environments they've created for this game. I know they were like arts, but Jesus, this world is so beautifully stunning.
That was one of my favorite parts about it was like they had like a 2-minute section where they were talking with the artist.
Yeah,
And like he was talking about how he came up with character designs and how each different, like each area for different people is designed in like different color patterns, different like different, completely different styles, just based on which NPCs or what kind of people would be living there.
Yeah.
Because they talked about one of I forget the name of the group of people, but like it's like essentially an NPC town. He's like, yeah, it's kind of chaotic. It's kind of like a bazaar.
Oh, yeah,
you could.
yeah.
It's like you could show up there. People may just start fighting you.
Yep. Yeah. That section looked pretty sick. So I mean, dude, just the level of care that's gone into the world. I mean, it's impressive. And John, you're right, because it's like we get this trailer last Xbox showcase, and it's like immediate interest just because of how beautiful the game looks. It's like it looks beautiful. It takes a new twist on the RPG elements with the real time reactive and everything. And I really think this game's going to be an absolute banger for this year. I think this game is going to really stand out for 2025.
And if it's a hit, this is the studio's first game, so best to them.
I know. And hopefully, if it is just a massive success, hopefully, it can open up the door for, just other possible games within the IP if they want to try to expand the IP in any capacity, depending on how this game is resolved, of course, with the narrative. So, no, very, very excited for Clair Obscur Expedition 33. It looks incredible.